Hello viewers, this is Taz at Doctor 97 presenting your second part of Berwick Saga Star List. Today we're hopefully going to complete all the star lists from Hive Complex. Anyway, we're going to start at High. High is going to start with Reese. Reese, we're going to explain that to him first. There you go. And with Reese, he is your main lord. These are his base stats. He has pretty decent base stats for a lord, I guess. He's pretty impressive what he reads for Berwick Saga, and he has a pretty good practicing stats. He also gains pretty decent promotion gains, and he gets medium shields, which increases his bulk a bit more, but the cost of losing his speed slightly. Anyway, he's going to have a hard time with Counter-Strike regardless, because the maximum speed you can gain is around 9. So you can just focus on increasing his bulk. Anyway, his sword rank is his lowest growth rate, and his medium and small shield rank growth rates are at around 80, so they're pretty good overall. Just have to focus on attacking them and indicate some of those skill levels. Anyway, I didn't use a bot to get everything, so he joins at the first map, so you don't worry about his availability, but he's only available for the main missions, so he has only around 15 chapters to grow. So it's not available for roughly half the game, I guess. And his promotion, you need to achieve either tactics rank of 18, and you get 3 for each of the main mission maps at the maximum if you perform well. If you don't get tactics rank of 18 within chapter 10, is going to promote in chapter 10. He has 4 preferred weapons and items, 3 weapons and 1 shield, 2 swords and an item. So we'll start with a small shield. It's pretty impressive defense for a small shield, and it gives it a bit along with the crab if you capture all the bounties, so use it a bit freely if you like. Just don't hold it too much. It's pretty light for a small shield too, so yeah, just use it wisely and it'll be fine. Okay, Grab is a very powerful sword. It has a lot of might. It doubles, so it gives an additive strike, so it's basically a cost instead of a brave attack. A cost means you're gonna counter attack after the enemy. You're gonna attack after the enemy counter attacks or something, so it has 18 crit. Medical is kind of pointless. The sword's gonna break if it functions as a medical charm, and it's the game mode anyway, so just keep Reese alive and use the sword as much as possible until it breaks, so use it wisely. Anyway, to circlet gives Reese a fortune skill. Fortune skill is basically makes the unit unable to be crit, so it's an iron rule basically. Nothing is a sword he gets in a late game, around maybe 14 or 15 if I remember right. Anyway, it gives him extra light damage. It gives him dark resistance, which is going to be handy for the late game. It recovers some durability for every chapter, so use it on a bench, I guess. You just don't have to use it every damn time. Anyway, Reese has a mount. You can take hits, you can attack. You don't double in most cases, but it's not anyway, so Reese is gonna function pretty fine. Like, he's a good unit, it's just that he's not available for most of the game, and he's at a low level, so can't use most of the weapons. So he still can use most weapons, I guess. If he raises his level, that is. Anyway, I guess that should be it for Reese. next unit is Vaughn. He's the general of the army, so he's the second right hand of Reese basically. The enemy is basically a chicken, and him being a chicken isn't necessarily a bad thing. He's endgame ready from the beginning of the game, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyway, we'll go to Discord server. Give me a second. Okay, here's Bard. He's not gonna counter strike anyway, but you see he has endgame stats already, so and he's not getting in a lot of levels anyway. His weapon skills are not gonna grow a lot, but they're pretty decent, I guess. I wish his war rank is a bit more, around 25 maybe, it would have been nice. Anyway, he has guard, so he can protect units if he doesn't know, and he can do it pretty well, especially since he has medium shields, so he can take a lot of hits compared to his defense, even goes to 0, I guess. Anyway, he joins the first map, and he isn't available at side missions like Reese. However, he's endgame ready, so he doesn't have to grow. Anyway, he comes in with a Knight's Sword and a pretty powerful lance. He also comes in with a Kite Shield, so the Knight's Sword is essentially his preferred weapon until you use Clifford and give it to him, or his sword unit reaches level 15, which is going to take a while. Anyway, so he can basically kill any unit with a Knight's Sword. He can use lance to hit, I guess. He's pretty good overall. It's just that he's not available for side missions and he won't go any further for the most point. Anyway, he also has a mount, so and he's a knight unit, so has some difficulty crossing terrain, but with a mount he can move, has high movement until the mount dies, so he's pretty good overall. Use him if you have to. Well, he also has robust, so can't be crippled. So he's a pretty damn reliable unit. Maybe the better units in the long run, but you can't go wrong using Bard. Okay then, sorry, give me a second. The next unit is Arthur. Okay, so here's Arthur is a level 2 sword knight, which is basically a cavalier, I guess, but he's locked to swords. Anyway, pretty similar stats to these, but he's slightly bulkier and slightly faster. He's not gonna reach, he might reach Counter Strike, I guess, if you're lucky, but it's a pretty low chance. Anyway, however, he has a wide variety of skills. He has arm stress, so his weapons are gonna make a bit slower. He can move an extra space at the cost of not using an action. He has desperation, which means he can increase his hit rates by 22. If he removes his shields and has, depending on how he uses his shields, he can either take a hit, or if he has 5 years by removing his shields, he'll double. So you gotta be a bit smart with this desperation. It's not a double for most cases, like it has 15. And Flourish reduces his attack by half, but increases injury rate to 33, which means he's a pretty reliable unit to injure most enemies, relatively speaking, for most cases. Anyway, his sword rank is slightly lower than Reese, but it's easily gonna reach promotion level anyway. The small shields and medium shields are pretty easily gonna reach the required promotion level. So, as a paladin is gonna get spears, so which means you can potentially use a harpoon to increase his injury rate a bit more further with Flourish skill if you have an harpoon. Anyway, let's check as he joins. His earliest map is at 1-2, which is Glittering Knights. You can recruit him in 2 ways. Either increases happiness to 10 before chapter 8, or after chapter 8 you just need to increase it by 1. Yeah, just use him as much as you want. It's a pretty easy recruitment out of me. Anyway, 20 sword, 20 small shield, and 20 medium shield. You're gonna hit the shield ranks pretty quickly. The sword rank you're gonna hit eventually, so you don't have to worry about that. It's only one weapon after all, so you don't have to focus. You don't have to focus on that much. Anyway, he has no preferred weapons, so that should be it for Arthur. Anyway, the next unit is Owen. Owen is a bishop for hire. Anyway, we'll be right back. Give me a second. Anyway, here's Owen. He's a level 12 bishop and he's expert, which means he can use almost any dome, any orb, technically, which he can use. However, I recommend avoid using the wind and fire orbs as they're limited and Aiken and Perceval like they used to. And it, however, is rarely going to use a fire dome, so you can risk using a personal fire orb once or twice. And a pretty high mind and very accurate, so you don't have to worry about them missing if you use it with commanding, if you want to use Owen as a attacker on the bench. However, his main duty is healing, and he can use the Holy Orb as a combination of Bandage and Mercy, so he's a pretty versatile unit. Anyway, you probably want to use him for the main missions anyway, as he has a very specific quirk. If you cross turn 20, he's going to turn into a red unit, so you want to be careful about that. He can be crippled, however, He has a return skill, which means he can escape the map at any point he can escape any map at any point if he uses the return skill, so he's basically a good unit, but he has a turn limit. Only reason he isn't the best healer is he has a turn limit for most of the game. Anyway, the earliest map he comes is Chapter 4 of Grim Reach Church, specifically 3 priests. If you keep all the priests alive, you're going to satisfy the tactics requirement anyway, so you want to keep them alive. Anyway, if you complete map level 1 and your city event boundary, and after completing the Island of Exile event, but completion of this chapter, if Owen's happiness is greater than 5 or equal to 5, complete map level 1, during which she's a compulsory unit and is a good unit, so you use this event, recruitment event, and he joins you with no time limits, and you can switch between us evil self, which will use his dark domes. However, it's rare and it has a limited skill, so you can't use the high level dark orbs anyway if you even get it. So you want to make sure he stays a bishop. Anyway, that's it about Owen. Here, the next high-tier unit is Perceval. But I find him there, he is. Anyway, Perceval will just be back. Anyway, here's Perceval. He's a bit frail, but he's pretty good. You don't have to worry about him. His offense is pretty damn good. He's not on Counter Strike, however, if he promotes, he's going to have a chance to add it, or if he gets a +1 speed from his bracket thing like that. Anyway. He has mercy, so combined with the let's go to Thunder Magic first. It can't attack at close range. It has 1 to 2 range. Technically speaking, there's 0, 1 and 2 range. Perceval can attack him from afar, so you can attack from one space. I think it defaults at 2 range for the most parts, so that's going to be fine. Anyway, all you need to do for Perceval is give him Eagle's Race, or if you got Tiger's Race somehow by capturing a bounty, specific bounty at some point, you can use that to boost his rate. He can kill most things with his Dark Thunder Orb. If the first one breaks, he can forge the second one. The Forge. He has a limited way to destroy most humans. And Dark Thunder from Tricia, it's the same thing. It has an additive strike. However, since Perceval attacks at range, he doesn't have to worry about counter attack for most keys. You can use wind, orbs, but it isn't its strongest suit. Anyway, Mercy. With Mercy and Lightning, Perceval becomes the best crippler unit, especially if you're weak to thunder. There's a certain bounty and thief on a desert chapter, which I don't remember the mission exactly. But there's a bounty in a desert chapter, Fog of War. Perceval basically cripples them if he uses a lightning dome, as he's weak to lightning for the most part. Anyway, he has arrow beams, which means he can avoid arrows and ballista. However, we want to use it as a last resort because Perceval's likely going to die to a ballista unit. Anyway, he joins his first map's 6 am. After that, you need to use happiness in 2. So you don't have to use him a lot, frankly, but if you want to promote him, you want to raise his thunder rank to 30, so you have to use him a lot. He permanently joins after chapter 12 if his happiness is greater than 2, and that's frankly a pretty easy condition to accomplish since you're going to use Perceval pretty frequently. Anyway, that's it for Perceval. Anyway, the next unit is Izerna. Enemy here is Izerna. She is a clinic. Frankly, you should expose her to combat. And the only tome she can use for offense is the Holy Tome anyway, so you don't have to worry about her going to combat in any case. Anyway, she can heal most units. And she is the free healer in the game, and she is the first healer in the game, I guess. However, she has low moves, so you want to use it carefully in the main mission since most of them are escape maps. Eventually, and you're gonna feel that for most of the maps. Anyway, Owen has limitations, and Saphira's kinda hard to use. Not exactly hard to use, but you want your Saphira for the side missions, I guess, for the most part. I'll tell you why once you need Saphira. Anyway, at level 6 she gets Expert, which means she can use most orbs like Owen, but she's not going to use them as well as Owen because the level is a bit lower. Anyway, after promotion, she gets orbs which can kill critical units, but that's kinda situational. I mean, I can show it to you exactly if you want. Yeah, there you go. Promotion, you need to reach level 10 and 30 light rank, which is frankly pretty damn easy. You don't worry about one reaching it. can show a preferred weapon. I did explain it, but I can show it for proof. Yeah, there you go. It can show ensure and critical units. And it's a preferred weapon. In case any healer with the level of level 30 can use it technically, but well, when is Owen gonna reach level 23 at least? And Saphira's never gonna reach level 30 anyway, so it's a preferred off for most of the kids. Anyway, next unit is Czene. She's a thief, not a combat unit primarily, so she can fight, but knives are a pretty weak weapon being used in injury units, so it's going to be hard to give her levels. But if you make her reach level 10 and promotion level, that's gonna be worth it. Enemy will be right back. And here is Czene. She has a wide variety of skills, so enemy grodies crap. Knife skill is pretty decent. She can open doors. She is watchful, so she can watch for hidden enemies. She has adder, which means she can proc an extra chance. She can get items from houses and treasure chests if you don't want to. I guess she's one of one or two years can do that. She can hide in terrain if you want, which can be handy in certain maps. She has a chance to mug. Check what exactly it does. It's a proc chance to steal an item product. Let me check what pluses. Okay, this mug always activates, but if it activates twice, it becomes not an ordinary mug skill, I guess. Anyway, let's check out. She joins in 2M, I guess it's the first map, and she can be a playable unit from chapter 2-1. Promotion is a map 3-2 boys and thieves, so she basically needs to reach level 10 of this. Promotion, she is a personal horse, which means if she promotes, her damage increases by 1, she gets extra 5 speed and she gets extra move. It grants a horse lover skill, which means she can swap horses, but that frankly is kind of pointless. Just keep the horse alive, I guess. I mean, horse love could restore the horse and also HP, but yeah, it's kind of pointless. Just keep the horse alive and be fine. Anyway, the next unit is Faramir. Like, he's an incredible combat unit, but he has certain flaws. Let's go to the Discord server. Anyway, here's Faramir. He has a pretty good strength stat and an awesome 15 speed, so he's gonna counter strike regardless of whatever weapon he uses. So here you go. Anyway, he's at level 10, is a bit lower than. He has a slightly lower level than Molo, so he can use slightly westwards than Molo, but level 10 is still pretty incredible upon he joins, so he'll gain levels eventually, don't worry about that. His sword skill is pretty impressive, frankly speaking. 25, and it's gonna go pretty fast. And his bow rank is pretty decent too, and it was at 70. It's not as high as I'd like it to be, considering Berwick Saga traits, but it's still pretty good. Anyway, fortune he can't be correct, so he'll survive if it takes a hit. And parry, he blocks a hit at the cost of slight weapon durability. Let me check what Yado is. He can use blades to boost his damage a bit more. He has extra move and he can't be crippled because of Robust Plus. Anyway, just want to check what Yado is once for to be sure. It's been a while since searching Berwick Saga. It's been a while since searching Berwick Saga, so. After avoid an attack while the sword is equipped, and if you need to counter attack, which means, yeah, if you avoid an attack, you can always go to counter attack anyways, so it's gonna boost his hit rate by 33, and the crit chance is kind of non-existent. So basically, he's a pretty reliable enemy face bot, I guess, if he uses a sword. Anyway, Faramir is in a weird spot since he can use swords and bows. He can't use aim like Sylvis or Christine. He can't use accessories to boost his stats or his accuracy like most of the other non-shield units. He can't equip shields to boost his Baruch. So it's kinda limited in a certain way, but he's still an incredible combat unit. However, he has certain flaws. I'm gonna explain them to you once I show the other screen. He joins at 3M. Faramir's requirement is pretty easy. You just need to raise his happiness by 3, use event, and fail to be permanently recruited. However, if you need to hire him and deploy him, you need to hire Face, so that's a problem. And he's slightly expensive. He's less expensive than Volo, of course, but he's still expensive. Anyway, let's check his preferred weapon. It is kinda similar to Gram, but it's better showing it to you. Here you go, 12 might, 60 accuracy, 4 weight. Anyone above level 20 can use it, so I can give it to. Oh yeah, it's a preferred weapon. Yes, but I guess anyone above the level of 20 could potentially use it. Anyway, it has an extra. It's basically Cram, I guess, for Faramir. Slightly weaker. You get the idea, he has 9 strength, and even Reese can kill most units at 5 strength, so Faramir is gonna kill pretty reliably at a Cutlass for most part. As long as it doesn't break, Faramir is gonna be an incredible combat unit if you wanna kill. However, if you're gonna play a ranked runner, frankly, never use him for the most part. Like, he's incredible for the main missions, I just don't use him for side missions, I guess. Like, he's a good unit, just feel free to use him if you want to. Anyway, the last unit in the high tier list is Elbert. Like, he isn't in the high tier in the original Reddit list, but I realized that, I mean, who gives a shit if it's going to promote a lot, so you're still going to perform fine for the most part if you give a nice small shield. Anyway, back to the Discord bot. Okay, we're at bot. Anyway, here's Elbert. Pretty incredible bases. He has the same speed as Vard, slightly low defense than Vard, slightly low strength than Vard. I guess he has the same HP as Vard. He comes in with a provoke skill, which means he can beat units at the cost of slightly increasing the damage potentially at a slight chance. And he has Arrow Beam, which means he's a perfect ballista bait if you use it properly. Anyway, with the Paladin, and if he gets a +1 speed, which he'll likely can't, he can counter strike with a rifle, a small shield, or if you remove a small shield and a sword, so you don't have to worry about that. Too. Like, if it's in counter strike, it's fine. You can just focus on taking hex. Anyway, the sword skill is pretty good, I guess, at the point of the game. It's not as high as Volo is, but it has a pretty impressive growth rate of 80, so it's gonna hit the required promotion rate pretty easily, and small shield is gonna hit 20 pretty easily. There's only problem to reach promotion is a shitty spear rank, and it's damn bad growth rate of 30. Like, once it reaches that 20 points, I don't think he has to use a spear for the rest of the game if he wants to. Anyway, let's check his promotion. He has perfect availability. It's just his 20 spear level is going to be a pain in the ass to reach, so you want to deploy him for most of the side missions and give him a damn speed book enemies for most of the game how to reach his 20 spear points. That is if you want to promote him. If you don't give a shit about his promotion, he'll be fine as a unit. Anyway, he gets shield fair at level 11 and he gets medium shields as a promotion. He can take a hits a bit better if you give him a medium shield, I guess. And it's a multiplier, so if he's at level 10, he'll reach 20 medium shield pretty easily. No, it's 0.5 right? Yeah. Then in 0.5 is. Yeah. That's gonna suck. I mean, medium shield level is gonna be a bit low, but you can raise it depending on how earlier you promote. And if you give him a good small shield, he's gonna tank as well as a bad medium shield, so battle average medium shield, so he's gonna be fine. Anyway, that should be it for this video. So consider leaving a like, share this video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll probably put a Berwick Saga Tier part 3 in the next week or something. If you stuck to this point, thank you for watching and see you all in the next video. Until then, goodbye.